When the Ultimate Fighting Championship absorbed World Extreme Cage Fighting in 2010, they inherited a group of very talented bantamweights. The most high-profile member of the WEC bantamweight class was their reigning champion, Dominick Cruz. In this episode, we'll take a look at the bantamweight title's transition into the UFC and the men who have held this prestigious championship. As always, if you guys enjoy this video, then please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at every bantamweight champion in UFC history. Number 1. Dominick Cruz. On December 16, 2010, the WEC Bantamweight Championship officially became the UFC Bantamweight Championship, a title held by Dominick "the Dominator" Cruz. Prior to transitioning over to the UFC, Dominick Cruz had initially won the WEC title against Brian Bowles at WEC 47, a title he defended on 2 separate occasions. Cruz's first title defense and debut with his new promotion took place at UFC 132. His opponent that evening was his longtime rival Urijah Faber, a fighter who had handed Cruz his first loss back in 2007. The organization's inaugural Bantamweight Championship fight lived up to the hype that surrounded it. Faber and Cruz put on a show for the fans in a bout that earned Fight of the Night honors. While the contest was certainly competitive, the Dominator had done enough to warrant a decision victory and keep the bantamweight strap. Sadly, Cruz would defend the belt just once more against Demetrius Johnson before suffering a major setback. A series of ACL-related injuries kept the inaugural title holder out of action for nearly 3 years. As a result, the UFC was forced to strip him of the bantamweight crown. Though he was inactive for much of it, Dominick Cruz's reign as champion lasted 1,117 days. Number 2. Hennan Barao. While Cruz was sidelined, the UFC decided to create an interim title. The man who captured the championship was a fighter out of Brazil known as Hennan the Baron Barao. On July 21, 2012, Barao defeated perennial contender Urijah Faber for the interim strap. He would go on to defend the interim title twice against Michael McDonald and Eddie Wineland, respectively. After roughly a year and a half as the interim title holder, with Cruz sidelined indefinitely, the Baron was finally promoted to undisputed champion on January 6, 2014. From there, the Brazilian once again ended Urijah Faber's title hopes at UFC 169, in what would be his only defense as the undisputed champion. However, it would be Faber's protege TJ Dillashaw who ended Barao's run as the king of bantamweights with a stunning upset win at UFC 173. Not counting his run as an interim title holder, Hennan Barao was the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion for 138 days. Number 3. TJ Dillashaw. Sorona, California's TJ Dillashaw stunned MMA pundits by securing a TKO victory over Hennan Barao in May of 2014. With the win, Dillashaw captured both the UFC Bantamweight Championship and Upset of the Year honors. The former Division I wrestler would go on to defend his title twice against Joe Soto and in a rematch with Barao. However, just when it appeared Dillashaw was in for a lengthy reign as champion, a familiar face returned to action. After battling back from potentially career-ending injuries, Dominick Cruz returned to reclaim the title he never lost inside the octagon. The two clashed at UFC Fight Night 81 in what turned out to be a very hard-fought contest. After an extremely competitive fight, Cruz had come full circle by winning a split decision victory, thus reclaiming bantamweight gold. Dillashaw's inaugural run as the division's top dog lasted 603 days. Number 4. Dominick Cruz. Cruz's second stint as champion was unfortunately far shorter and ended in a more conventional fashion. For the first defense of his second reign, the Dominator faced a familiar foe in the California Kid, Urijah Faber. The adversaries met for a third time in June of 2016 at UFC 199. This time around, Cruz managed to pick a relatively one-sided decision victory to keep bantamweight gold around his waist. Of course, it would be another one of Urijah Faber's understudies who would enter the title picture and dethrone Cruz. At UFC 207, Cody Garbrandt, a then undefeated 25-year-old, would put on a striking clinic and take home the bantamweight strap. This time, the Dominator had managed to hold on to the title for 348 days before ultimately suffering his first loss inside the octagon. Number 5. Cody Garbrandt. Cody "No Love" Garbrandt defeated arguably the greatest bantamweight of all time to become a champion. However, despite his remarkable win at UFC 207, Garbrandt couldn't keep the momentum going. That said, one of the most heated rivalries in UFC history took place during his reign. Former alpha male teammate TJ Dillashaw had left the camp on bad terms, which didn't sit well with the current member Cody Garbrandt. It resulted in intense animosity that was on full display when the two coached opposite one another on the 25th season of The Ultimate Fighter. At UFC 217 in November of 2017, the friends turned foes finally squared off inside the UFC octagon. That evening, Garbrandt rocked his opponent early before falling victim to a TJ Dillashaw knockout midway through the second round. Though he never defended the title, thanks to the time taken to film The Ultimate Fighter, Cody Garbrandt enjoyed a 309-day title reign. Number 6. TJ Dillashaw. Dillashaw's second go-around as champion started off with an immediate rematch with his former teammate. At UFC 227, Dillashaw once again defeated Cody Garbrandt in a more convincing fashion with a first-round TKO. With Garbrandt firmly in the rearview, TJ Dillashaw set his sights on Henry the Messenger Cejudo and the Flyweight Championship. However, Dillashaw's quest to become a two-division champion ended abruptly when the Messenger landed a flurry of strikes that forced the referee to halt the action just 32 seconds into the fight. Unfortunately for TJ Dillashaw, following the Cejudo loss, things would go from bad to worse. The former Team Alpha Male member tested positive for a banned substance in a post-fight drug test and was eventually suspended for 2 years. As a result, he was forced to vacate his title 501 days after capturing it. Number 7. Henry Cejudo. After defeating TJ Dillashaw, it turned out that Henry Cejudo also dreamed of becoming a two-division champ. The flyweight title holder decided to move up a weight class and challenge top contender Marlon Moraes for the vacant bantamweight strap. The two men met in June of 2019 at UFC 238. While Cejudo struggled during the opening round of the fight, he eventually managed to pick up the pace and even scored a TKO win late into the third round. For his first title defense, the Messenger would face the inaugural UFC bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz, who had once again battled back from an injury. Cejudo overwhelmed the Dominator and ultimately won the contest with a second-round TKO. After defeating Cruz and firmly establishing himself as the world's best bantamweight, Henry Cejudo shocked fans and pundits alike by retiring in the cage at UFC 249, thus ending his 352-day title reign. Number 8. Piotr Yan. With the UFC Bantamweight Championship once again up for grabs, Dana White and company decided to let top contender Piotr Yan and former featherweight champion Jose Aldo fight for the vacant belt. The talented strikers collided on Fight Island at UFC 251 this past July. While the contest was initially competitive, Yan would eventually take over in the later rounds before ultimately putting his opponent away in the 5th round. Piotr Yan is now the reigning bantamweight title holder and is expected to make his first defense at UFC 259 on March 6th. His opponent will be the red-hot Aljamain Sterling, who is fresh off a first-round submission win over Corey Sandhagen. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Apart from that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.